Hello there everybody, I'm Mr. Game & Pie, and welcome to Let's Play Crash Purple and Spyro Orange, part, let's see, I believe this is 7 now, yes. Part 7. Crash and Spyro have entered each other's worlds in order to essentially face off against their opposite opponents. So Crash is chasing after Ripto, and Spyro is chasing after Cortex. They're going to be putting tracers on their enemies of choice so that they can locate their hideout, hopefully. So yes, it's coming down to the end game now. The time for you to collect the clear crystals as Crash or play all the mini-games in hard mode as Spyro, it will be coming very soon. So, if you haven't been doing that like I have been doing, well, you better get ready to backtrack some. Anyway, that was the first little bonus game for Crash there. It's the second bonus game where you just sort of fall. Basically just double jump whenever you think that you're about to reach a box to orient yourself. There are nitro boxes in the area, and TNT boxes as well. You don't have any eachothers in the area to save you if you get hit, so it's one-hit kill on everything. In fact, that's the way it is for all the bonus games. So don't get in them. Now there is some stuff a little bit to the left, but over here to the right we have another little bonus game. It's the button mashing minigame for Crash. Everybody loves the button mashing minigames, right? Right? Yeah. Alright, this one gave me a lot of trouble as a kid. Fortunately, while I'm still bad at button mashing, I'm at least good enough to do this now. Seriously, I could not handle that. Now I can do it with 8 seconds left on the clock. But yeah, quite frankly, with how bad I was at button mashing, I'm surprised I even made it through Spyro's game, considering how it's required for not only just progressing from one room to another, but for how it's actually required for a couple mini-games. Though with that said, for some reason, the button mashing minigames that are required for getting from the first room to the second room aren't actually, like, they're harder than the minigames, even on the hardest difficulty, where like you pull the rope or you freeze the Riptoc or whatever. Those are easier. Those are easier button mashing minigames, even on hard mode, and I don't get why. In any case, this area seems like a pretty generic castle area. Like, there's not a whole lot tying it to Spyro for me. Like, a lot of the traps that we see around here with the swing pendulums and the spikes that come out of the ground, we've already seen those in this game. We see the butterflies that Spyro uses to, like, heal himself, or heal Sparks, more accurately. But that's about it. Like, you know. Oh, also, I just sort of cut the trip back over here, because we need to take the top path now. I guess that is one thing. The area does feel like it's designed for a character like Spyro who can glide and fly around, because there's generally only one pathway up to the top area, and there's a lot of important stuff up here, like 2 of the minigames have already been on these top areas. So, yeah, you're gonna need to be going there. In any case, let's see what Spyro's up to. Ah yes, in the Wumpa Jungle, where Crash is from. Now, I said how the castle area feels like a pretty generic castle area without too much connecting it to Spyro. This applies even more to Crash's Wumpa Jungle because, like, in the first game you're here, but in most of the Crash games you don't really explore his, like, home island at all. I don't know, there might have been another one down the line, but I can't think of any. Then again, I'm not too familiar with the Crash series. And it's not like there are a bunch of Wumpa fruits just sort of laying around like how Spyro's area had, like, butterflies to signify, oh yeah, this is Spyro's castle, just not just any castle, it's the one in Spyro's world. But no, there's nothing. There's no boxes, there's no Aku floating around, there's no Wumpa fruits. It's like, if there weren't like these little Venus flytrap enemy types, I wouldn't have any idea that this was Crash's world. It's just a forest. Like, how many forests have we been in so far in video games? A lot! I don't know, man. Maybe there's something that I'm just completely missing about this area. But it's pretty much just a generic forest. But, yeah. There's a lot of cliffs. You explore a lot of the treetops and such as Spyro. In fact, that's actually pretty similar between Crash and Spyro in this world here. Where, their top paths are paths that you really need to cross for stuff. And they're hard to get to, like there's only one pathway up to them. Now there is a pathway like right above, like underneath this, above this area, there's like a pathway up there, but I don't know how to get up to that. And as you can see as we go through the door here, there's actually a gym on the other side. I don't know how to get to that. I've never done it. In any case, here in Crash's version of the castle, we actually see something pretty cool here in a second. But also, just in general, it feels like Crash has an easier time in Spyro's first world than Spyro does, because Spyro, whenever going through his area... Oh yeah, this is fake Crash. He's fake Crash. He has his own card. He's like a reference in the series to a bad Crash doll. But anyway, in Spyro's world, whenever he went through it, he didn't have any of his aerial abilities, so he couldn't double jump, he couldn't glide or anything. And the level is definitely designed for you to backtrack and have those abilities. It makes the entire area a lot easier to deal with. It allows you to reach certain Riptocs that drop rocks that you couldn't reach before. Overall, it makes an easier time. Obviously, Crash has all of his abilities right off, so you could explore the entire area. And it almost feels like Spyro is, like, weaker or something? Like, it doesn't really flow right for me. Meanwhile, Spyro in Crash's world, he actually has a very hard time in Crash's world because there are a lot of enemies, and I think that there's only like 1 or 2 animals to actually give you health. And neither of them are in the second area of the level, that's for sure. Once you get to that point, there's no more animals for the rest of the game. Actually, you can't restore health for the rest of the game. But yeah, more pathways up here. Crash has to take the bottom pathway to get all the way to the right, but once he's at the right, there are about 2 layers that he can actually reach. Also, the bottom layer of the level, like the very bottom under the ground, that has a lot of the castle graphics, like the stone walls that you see a lot in Spyro's area. In Spyro's area, those walls are used to indicate like you're inside the castle, but here it's more like they're trenches or something, because, you know, a lot of castles have underground pathways that have traps and such in them, so that they protect the people that are inside, usually like royalty and such. And the spike traps actually appear in those dugout areas, in Crash's area, so Crash's level actually feels more like a castle than Spyro's did for some reason. Anyway, here's the other bonus area for Crash. An important thing to remember is that by holding down the jump button whenever you land on a crate, it'll actually bounce you higher than if you just bounced off of it normally. You can use this to speed yourself up so you don't have to double jump constantly. This is helpful. In any case, I went through that without, like, any problems at all. But, yeah, Spyro, he doesn't get any more health options from the second room of Crash's world onward. Crash here, he actually does get an Aku Aku box in this room, so he's more defensive, kind of. I mean, I guess it's kind of required because Spyro can generally take more hits. Like, Sparks has 3 hits before he disappears, and he starts with those 3 hits. Aku Aku, at most, can only give you 2 hits. And you need to grab one of those hits. Like, he'll just start off only giving you 1 extra hit before you die. Oh, and listen to that. Did you hear that whenever I fell off that platform? Where do I want to go again? I jumped. It made the sound of me jumping, but I did not actually go up. It's very strange. Also, this shop is the shop that we all love, the Mystery Shop! Oh boy. Anyway, that's all for Crash's area here. Alright, so Spyro here is in the forest again, and he's deep within the forest now. He's exploring the trees and the jungle and getting hit by Riptox. Yeah, so the enemies in this area are actually pretty difficult. Their range extends to around where your range is, actually. So, unlike in many areas of the game where you have the range advantage by shooting fire at people, that isn't so much the case here. Their clubs go about as far as your fire does, and for those, Venus Flytrap enemies, well, they reach about as far as your fire breath does, too. Alright, so here's the collected gem area of this level. This is, as far as I understand, the only bonus game for Spyro in this world. Make sure that you stay on this top path as long as you can. Now, something about gems. You see, Crash, he can hold like 9,999 Wumpa Fruit. Spyro, on the other hand, can only collect 999 gems. Now, Spyro's minigames, when you beat them, actually give him gems. So collecting 999, as long as you aren't dying repeatedly, is entirely possible for the duration of Spyro's gameplay. For Crash, he doesn't really get Wumpa Fruit by just beating minigames. Like, you know, some minigames have Wumpa Fruit in them that he can collect. But, he's not just gonna get Wumpa Fruit for beating a minigame in general. As such, unless you explicitly grind for Wumpa Fruit, you won't be getting 999 Wumpa Fruit. So that just seems like a very odd decision on their part. One of many, to be honest. But at the very least, gems are more required for Spyro than Wumpa Fruit are for Crash, considering that you need them to enter a minigame ever, at all, anytime you want to play it. But yeah, here's an interesting thing. Moneybags is here, but his tent is all the way over here. How exciting. Alright, now here we have the portal to Tech Park. So we've actually seen this entire area as Spyro now. So yeah, everybody, I've been Mr. GamePie, this has been Let's Play Crash Purple and Spyro Orange, and next time I see you, we're going to be doing the mini-games of this area. See y'all later!